Well, I recorded a lot of material during the playoffs and didn't release a lot of it. I was too busy with other projects to get through the editing process. And then the finals came around. I was still working on other projects, and the finals were kind of not very inspiring to watch or even talk about. I put out one video about Tatum. I think that's enough about the finals. So let's rewind to the Mavericks and the Timberwolves and the Lakers and the Nuggets, and I'll release a few things that I had noted during those series. During that stretch that Luka and Kyrie were killing it against Oklahoma and against the Timberwolves, I was hearing quite often, oh, it's great that you have two guys that can work together, and if one guy has a bad night or a bad half, then the other guy can be the guy who has the good half to make up for the other guy. And what a pair, what a tandem. One player has the other guy's back. And the reason I thought about that was in the previous series, no matter how great Anthony Davis played and how mediocre LeBron James played, the only thing I heard was about Anthony Davis having small offensive numbers in the fourth. The 3 quarters before didn't seem to matter to the media. I mean, it's so different than their attitude with the Luka and Kyrie situation. One guy, they forgive for having a bad half because, hey, you got the other guy. In LeBron and AD's case, AD has to be great all 4 quarters, every single game. Otherwise, he's going to get the blame. When did they put it on LeBron James's shoulders to just come up big in the fourth? Just one time. One time act like the GOAT. One time come up big in the fourth and make up for what Anthony Davis couldn't do in the fourth, because he did it the entire rest of the game. This seems like a good segue to talk about AD and LeBron's stats in the playoffs. When you got a guy on your team who, in the playoffs, is your team leader in points per game in Anthony Davis and rebounds per game in Anthony Davis, and the media is calling that guy the problem, there's your wake-up call. Now, of course, I'm disappointed to see LeBron James get into any category, but when it comes to assists, I think we can break that down. First of all, they reward just about anything that had anything to do with the possession as an assist these days. Secondly, LeBron's calling card is to dish off to another player after he's ran the shot clock out. So it's going to end up in someone else's hands after LeBron has dominated holding the ball. Of course, he's going to end up with a lot of assists. People are going to miss, but the percentage of time that LeBron James has the ball and then dishes off to somebody else when he doesn't have an easy scoring opportunity is high. Am I making excuses now? Yeah, but I can back it up. I took these clips from NBA Advanced Stats showing LeBron's assists from Game 1. This is an assist. I kid you not. This one's even worse. I kid you not. That's an assist for LeBron James. And then he has the luxury of an Anthony Davis for lobs and pick and rolls. That's just give me for anybody who throws the pass. Next, Kevin Harlan brings up an ugly memory from the past.
Last year in the Western Conference Finals, of course, the torn foot ligament. He's healthy now, though. He finds Davis inside.
Kevin Harlan lied about LeBron's foot injury last year. Did you catch that? Boy, they slipped that one in there nice and smooth, claiming that LeBron had a torn foot ligament. Never confirmed. Now people have been told that LeBron actually played on a torn foot ligament last year. Basically, in a couple of words, in a couple of seconds, Kevin Harlan confirmed something that no one else could confirm, never did confirm. It was only LeBron James. LeBron James reveals. How can LeBron James reveal it? You understand that the only person who ever diagnosed it as a torn tendon was LeBron James. And then he went and saw this mysterious LeBron James of feet. I mean, it was weird. LeBron James is weird. And he gets weirder because people keep letting him get away with this weird pathological lying crap like Kevin Harlan. You couldn't just let this bad memory go, could you? You had to bring it up and make an excuse for LeBron James in 2024 from 2023 that didn't even exist. Just couldn't let it die in the past. So here I am, pissed off again in 2024. Next, remember when mediocre James couldn't get it done, so the media quickly took turns blaming his teammates, and D'Lo was getting a lot of that. One example was D'Lo's antics at the end of the bench. What you didn't see was LeBron's antics. Sure worked out great that D'Lo pulled his stunt of acting uninterested and disengaged at the end of the bench. Why did it work out great? Because LeBron James was disinterested and disengaged at the other end of the bench. But now the media can focus on what D'Lo did. I mean, that does work out pretty great, doesn't it? Look, this is more obvious. It's easy to focus on. He certainly is guilty. What do you call this, though? What do you call this? And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if D'Lo had not done this. The media still would not have focused on LeBron's body language on the bench. D'Lo just made it even easier to distract from LeBron's bad body language, from LeBron's bad huddle behavior. Next, man, immediately following that gentleman's sweep, the number of people that came out claiming LeBron was still a top player just had me barfing left and right. I don't want to keep hearing about LeBron James playing at an elite level or being, and I swear they said this, even after he was eliminated, he was a top 6 player in the league. I heard analysts saying this on ESPN. He's still a top 6 player in the league, and yet he's nowhere near Brunson, Edwards, or Embiid in points per game. He's nowhere near Davis, Jokic, or Hart in rebounds per game. And consider this. The Nuggets out-rebounded the Lakers. And yet, Anthony Davis leads everyone in rebounds per game at 15.6. That means Anthony Davis was doing his job. And the other giant on the floor, LeBron James, was not. In the bigger playoff picture of assists per game, LeBron isn't in the top. Jokic, Doncic, Halliburton. Davis, by contrast, not only is a top rebounder in the entire playoffs, but also a top blocker in the entire playoffs. But yeah, he's the problem. Next, Windhorse calls out Luka for traveling.
I thought it was ridiculous how much crap Rudy Gobert got for giving up the game-winning 3 to Luka, which, by the way, that's the only time in the playoffs and maybe all season long that Luka's gone right on a step back. Just to tell you what an extraordinary
he traveled, by the way.
Was.
He traveled.
Not according to the last 2-minute report.
Well, I understand that, but like, and I'm not asking for them to call a travel there. I don't expect them to call a travel there, but he took an extra step with his right foot, which enabled him to get that shot off.
I called it a gather step. Anyways, point being.
Oh my God, the gather. It's like marginal contact. The gather is like cover for everything. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can say Luka traveled. That's fine. Like I've said in other videos, I'm confused at this point what we're going to bother to call a travel. All I know is that in LeBron's case, we don't even start counting until after the 4th step. And for Windhorst to call this out when he's never called LeBron James out, ever. What LeBron James looks like a crab on crack as he walks into his 3-point shots. And as far as his comment about the gather covering all excuses now, that is the battle cry of LeBron fans talking about the gather. The gather 1, the gather 2, the gather 3. Now LeBron's still got 2 more steps to take after that. Windhorse, you can't be the guy to talk about the gather, nor the marginal contact, because the Lakers get away with the marginal contact bullshit too. Next, LeBron's lack of fouls. Maybe we should talk about exactly how many fouls LeBron was able to get away with. The fact that he went with 0 fouls several times, especially towards the end of the season there. Now, you've seen from my game breakdowns that there are multiple reasons why he might not get called a foul. One is he just gets out of the way. He gets blown by if it's his defender and then tries to shove him in the back without getting called for a foul. But when I say get out of the way, I mean when someone else needs help, which, by the way, LeBron gets the floater position and he's supposed to help. He doesn't help. He just stands there and lets the guy go by. A lot. So I guess that's one way not to get a foul called on you, is to not play defense at all. And the other is to get away with sneaky, dirty fouls and not have the refs call it on you. In this segment, Bob Myers says even when you have a great team, you still need your stars to be stars. Now, I don't remember them holding LeBron accountable for not acting like a star, for not coming through like a star. And it sort of seems like now they're trying to find excuses for Anthony Edwards not really rising to the moment.
It's a team game. And if you stopped all these games, even including the Celtics-Pacers series, about 3 minutes to go, Pacers are up 2-1 and Minnesota's up 2-1. But basketball, in the last 2-3 minutes, it becomes a stars game. If we're playing pickup basketball, Wilbon, and it's 8-all, and we're coming down the floor, my best player better be better than your best player, because that's who's going to win the game for the most part.
I agree. You need your contributors, you need the whole team, but when push comes to shove, the difference in winning the game usually comes down to whether or not your stars can step up to the plate. I don't know why I'm saying step up to the plate when we're talking about basketball, but in any case, this reminds me of LeBron James, because he still gets credited as being one of the best in the league, even today, and yet you cannot rely on him to be the man when you need him to be the man at the end of the game. No. They do what they're doing here with Karl Anthony Towns, finding ways to blame the rest of the team. What Bob Myers just said, without saying it, is that Anthony Edwards is not that guy. Otherwise, the ball would have been in his hands and he would have been making the shots. He wasn't. Maybe if Anthony Edwards was playing better, you wouldn't be in a situation where Karl Anthony Towns was taking so many shots. I'm wondering if the coach didn't say, hey, let's take the pressure off of Anthony Edwards. You guys are going to have to make all of these shots, make all these points. And it's fine to help your star out sometimes, but not when the analysts are going to blame everyone else instead of the star.
The real story is Karl Anthony Towns. Where's your Robin? He's averaging 15 points. Yo.
It's funny, since I didn't release this previously, I can add in that now the Klay Thompson drama is going on, and they were defending Klay by saying he's still a great player, making 18 points a game. Okay, you just shit on Karl Anthony Towns for 15. So the magic number is 3? And in today's NBA, that's not like saying 15 or 20 points in the 80s or 90s. Anthony Edwards is averaging 22 points a game. You are thinking you have a basis for a great point about 7-point difference? A 7-point difference when Anthony Edwards is supposed to be the next Michael Jordan? Wait, but it gets better. What's that look like on a game-by-game basis? If we compare those two, in Game 1, Anthony Edwards only had 3 more points than Karl Anthony Towns. Guess what? Jaden McDaniels outscored Anthony Edwards on fewer attempts. Hell, Anthony Edwards barely outscored Rudy Gobert, who has no offensive game at all. Shit, he only outscored Naz Reid by 1 point. Kyle Anderson by 5 points. Hell, he only outscored Naz Reid by 4 points. 8 assists to 3 turnovers is not a very good ratio. All right, that's enough for part 1. What did you think about those double standards that I noticed? And this was so many months ago, I'm having a hard time finding the previous recordings, but I'll whip together part 2 for you. See you in the next one.